What does law enforcement and fighting heart disease and stroke have in common? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on public service and fighting heart disease and stroke. And we're visiting with Horry County Sheriff Phillip Thompson. Good morning, Sheriff Thompson.
Good morning, Greg. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for getting in early with us, right as we wrap up August in such a hectic summer.
It was a hot, hectic summer.
Hot and hectic.
And it's certainly nice to be here.
Absolutely. You know, you think about early in the morning getting out and, of course, driving in from Conway. And, of course, for you, you've been making that trip from Conway to Myrtle Beach for many years.
Yes, I have. And it's basically a normal drive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to see that we got some roads now to help us get over.
Yes, that's right. And you take advantage of the roads.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw you kicked off your law enforcement career at the Myrtle Beach Police Department.
I did. Back in 1978, I began working with the Myrtle Beach Police Department.
That's 27 years ago.
Wow, it doesn't seem like that long.
Not to date you there, but that's...
Yeah. Well, let's just say I was very young when I started.
That's right, out of the womb. That's right, starting early. You know, and of course, you grew up where?
In Conway. And I was born and raised in Conway. And I graduated from Conway High School.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the opportunity to go to work with Myrtle Beach Police Department. Just always, that's something I wanted to do since I got out of high school. I went out to Uri Georgetown Tech. I majored in criminal justice. And I just really wanted to get involved in law enforcement. And I had the opportunity to go to work there, which I did. And thoroughly enjoyed every day.
What do you think it was that prompted you, that got you thinking that way, thinking that you could make a difference in law enforcement?
Well, I had some friends. I say friends, the folks that were maybe somewhat older than I was, but they were in law enforcement. I just enjoyed listening to their stories, enjoyed listening to the type work that they did. And basically, being a law enforcement officer is about helping people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about, and I have always enjoyed that. And it was just something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to try, so I did, and I'm very, very glad that I did.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wonder if folks ever sit back and they think of those two words, law enforcement.
Right.
They think about sheriffs, they think about police, they hear those words, or cop or otherwise, but thinking about those two key words of what y'all are all involved in, law enforcement.
Well, and that's an interesting way to put it, because I never did at that particular time. I was talking about law enforcement or being a police officer.
Right.
Whatever, but I didn't really think about what law enforcement is, what law enforcement means, what law enforcement is to our community, what law enforcement is to everything involved. And it's quite a task, but it's not the profession that everyone would do.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of people come into law enforcement, and after 3 or 4 years they would decide, or they would understand that maybe that wasn't what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that job that you could go to at 8 in the morning and get off at 5 in the afternoon and come back to work tomorrow.
Right.
8 to 5. I mean, it's long hours.
Oh yeah.
And it's working holidays, working weekends, working nights. So some folks would wonder
mm-hmm.
why they would do that. But I think basically what it boils down to, and the people that make a career out of it, and the folks that stay in it, it's because you're making a difference in your
mm-hmm.
community.
We were very sorry recently at the Herald to learn that one of our saleswomen, had made a decision to go back to, and she said it's been in her blood. She's just left us to go back to be a detective in North Myrtle Beach in their police department, Victoria Yerkin. It was so tough to hear her say that, but saying, she'd been in it and she'd done a lot of volunteer fire work, and it's amazing to see her commitment there and how she's always been thinking about it.
Once you do that, and it gets, as you say, in your blood, and I've spoken to folks that have retired, and they say that they miss that part. Mm-hmm. It's like another family away from your other family. You're there, you're working with them in the conditions I just talked about, the days, the hours, and things of that nature. And it does get in your blood. And I can't imagine not being in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure folks wonder that, Sheriff, what would you be doing if you weren't in law enforcement? And as you said, difficult to imagine not being in it.
That's correct. And I don't know, maybe I could get a job at Fox 43 or something.
Yeah. We could probably find some openings here, absolutely.
But I just really love being in law enforcement. I really do.
And you know, when you mention the words about people, it's all about people. If you take those two words about people and add them with law enforcement, and you think what the community would be like if laws weren't enforced, it would be bedlam, and people wouldn't be able to survive. They couldn't do anything.
That's exactly right. And you know, it's just a great profession.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about your family, of course, in the law enforcement community. You also have family quite a bit throughout the county. You still have family all around.
Yes, I do. Like I said, I was born and raised here. Married my high school sweetheart.
Is that right?
Yeah. And we have 3 sons. We have 3 grandsons.
Wow.
But we're expecting a granddaughter next month.
Wow.
Probably in a couple of weeks, and that's the first girl that's born in the Thompson family in quite some years, so we're very excited about that.
You know, I saw in reading about you, that you had the 3 sons, and then I saw, and I think this was an older piece, there were 2 or 3 grandsons.
Right.
To think about a granddaughter edition, that'd be a big, big deal.
Very excited.
I'm sure Cherry's thrilled.
She is.
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
That's very exciting. Yeah. You know what, I mentioned law enforcement and public service and fighting heart disease and stroke. We've got a big American Heart Walk coming up, I think October 15th, out of Broadway at the beach, and it has a big tie-in to you as well this year.
Yes, it does. It's going to be October the 15th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be at Broadway at the beach. And this year, I was called and asked if I would mind doing it in honor of myself and the county administrator, Danny Knight. And of course, I was very, very honored for someone to ask to do that, because this past March, I had an incident with heart disease. And with that, it's very special to me now. I mean, it was before, but the emphasis wasn't there like it is once you go through a situation like that. So, like I said, it happened back in March. I had some surgery, doing well. Things are going really good for me. But I see the importance of what heart disease is all about and what it means. And you know, the good Lord gives us these symptoms for a reason. To tell us that something's wrong here. And I didn't always listen to them. And now, the more we can do to educate the public, the more we can do to let everyone know that, hey, yes, it can happen to everyone. And I think, you know, I would say that everyone listening today and everyone knows someone that has been affected.
Oh, yeah.
In some shape or form by some type of heart disease. And there's certain things we have to do. And with this heart walk, which I'm very excited about being involved in.
Yeah.
And but with that, the monies that are, it's not just about raising money. That's part of it, because you got to have that. But it's also about education. It's also about letting the people know, the public know. And so I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm practicing my walk.
I saw that, and you've been losing a lot of weight as well.
I have. I've lost a good bit of weight, and it's all contributed to diet and walk. All the things I'd been told all these years to do that I didn't always listen to. I found out that that's what we need to be doing, seriously. Exercise and diet.
And if you've got bad knees or bad backs, you don't have to be in aerobics class. You don't have to be out jogging or running. You can be out just walking.
That's correct. And I do. I walk 5 days, at least 5 days, every week. And I got a little 3.5 mile walk that I do, and then go to the gym 3 days out of 5 days.
Wow.
So, you know, it's an hour.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you take 1 hour of your day, and you spend it doing that, where I would have normally been sitting in the recliner with the remote for an hour.
Right, yeah. Tuning into.
You know, if sometimes with my schedule, I'm not always home in a certain hour.
Right, sure.
But I can get up an hour early and get my walk in and whatever.
Folks ask, how can I find the time? And I think you've learned, how could you not find the time?
That's it. You know, and I've talked to so many folks that have had a problem with heart disease. and have had a situation or whatever. Fortunately, I did not have a heart attack. Mine was found in a checkup. I went for a checkup. I'd been experiencing some pressure and things, and I went for a checkup, and they found it there, so I had no damage. I'm very, very fortunate that I went for that checkup. And but you know, a lot of times, folks, the biggest thing I see in folks that I've talked to that's had this problem is denial. This can't be happening to me.
Right.
It's indigestion. It's a muscle cramp. It's things of this. Folks, go get checked. Seriously. Go down and get checked, and if there's something wrong, we have got one of the wonderful, wonderful staff folks in this area.
Oh yeah, all the hospitals.
I'm telling you, they're just a great group of medical professionals in this area. Cardiac rehab at the different centers throughout this county.
Right.
They're wonderful folks, caring folks, and they'll help you. And the thing about it is, you start feeling better about yourself.
You need to break down. Let viewers hear. Would you mind sharing that? I heard this from you last weekend before last. It was fascinating hearing you talk about just saying it can't be happening to me.
That's true. And I talked with other folks. As a matter of fact, I spoke to a friend of mine today in Wilmington on the phone. He called me, and he'd had a problem, and he was just getting over it, and he was in the denial stage, and I started having problems, and I thought it was indigestion. I didn't necessarily think it was. I wanted it to be.
Right.
That's what I wanted it to be. But it persisted, and it kept going. And I was just fortunate enough to get to, you know, I went to my doctor. My doctor set up a procedure for me, a stress test, and I went into that. But even after we did that, and I knew when I got off that stress test, I knew I had a problem. There's no doubt. I'm still in denial. This can't be happening.
Wow.
Seriously, this can't be happening. And I'm not a lot different than a lot of other people. I think other people have experienced the same thing. But I went through the procedure. Everything was wonderful. I've gone through rehab. I'm doing well. I'm now doing what I've been told to do and didn't do before. But folks, it can happen.
Right.
To any of us. It's one of the leading
killers of all Americans. Absolutely. In this county, 40% of folks are impacted or their lives taken by cardiovascular disease. In the PD, it's even higher.
Yeah.
It's incredible, those numbers. If a viewer wanted to learn more about the upcoming Heart Walk and obviously about the event on October 15th, what's the best number for someone to call if they need to get off to school now or out to work?
Tammy Eves, 626-3939.
Okay.
She's with the Heart Association.
Right.
And you can call her. She can give you, all the information you need.
Oh, yeah.
I encourage folks to come out.
Yeah.
Let's walk together.
Absolutely.
Let's have a good day. But she's not only are you talking about heart attacks or you're talking about strokes.
Right.
Other things that affect all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And our family members.
All types of cardiovascular disease. One of the deputy sheriffs, Paul Butler, recently was interviewed. It was fascinating hearing him talk about you just don't know who's going to be touched, impacted, but virtually everyone you know has been.
Well, and this is another thing that with it happening to me, my family has really gotten more involved. Not involved to the extent I would like to see some of our boys, but they're better. They are walking some, and they're exercising some. And when they come over to eat at home, we serve them better food, more nutrition, or better food, better prepared food. And it's starting to get better. But talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Talk. That's not something you want to sit around on the evening or sit at the dining room table and talk. I understand that. But at some point, sometime, you need to discuss it because we're all affected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You and Cherry, your 3 sons, 3 grandsons, and potentially even your granddaughter will be out there on Saturday, October 15th, so it's a great day for folks to get out.
Our tennis shoes on and ready to walk.
That's right. I think a lot of folks are arriving at 8:30. There's something kicking off at Ripley's Aquarium at 9. Walk will be going. They've got a lot of events, a big health fair. I know a number of the community other hospitals get out there to provide information, lots of blood screening tests, lots of tests that'll be happening that day. So it's a critical day, rain or shine, shine or rain, to get out there. You know, we think about so many activities that go on within the Sheriff's Department. A lot of folks may not know about some of those. I was fascinated reading at y'all's website many of the activities that a lot of folks don't know about, but of course you're coming from essentially from the inside out, having served in the police department as well for many, many years.
Yes, I did. You know, we talked about earlier, I started my career in Myrtle Beach in 1978, and I worked there for 2 years.
Right.
And in 1980, I accepted a position with the Horry County Police Department, and I worked there until 2001.
Wow, 21 years.
21 years. And I started out as a patrol officer, and I was fortunate enough and able enough to work my way through the ranks to captain of the patrol division. I was promoted to captain in 1994 or 95. Years run together after a while.
Yeah.
I think it was 94 is when it was. But I was there for 21 years, had a wonderful career there. And then I decided to run for the office of sheriff in 2000, which I did, and fortunate enough to have become elected. And I took office January 2nd, 2001.
Right.
And in Horry County, we have both a sheriff's office and we have a county police department. And sometimes some folks do have some questions on why we have two. Well, legislation was passed in 1959 or 58. It began in 59 to create the county police department. The legislative delegation did that at that particular time. And basically what their duties and responsibilities are is that they are a police department within the county.
Right.
As you would have a police department within a city like Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, Surfside, Conway. And they answer your 911 calls, your calls for service, and they do your investigative work and things of that nature. Now, the sheriff's office, what we do, we have the same authority and the same powers as the police department. We're a law enforcement agency. But there's no need in us doing the same thing that they're budgeted and they have personnel to do.
Right.
What we don't want to do is duplicate services. So what we do in the sheriff's office is, first and foremost, is we provide security for our court system.
Okay.
We have a wonderful facility, brand new facility that was completed in I believe it was 2003.
Right.
We moved in. The Justice Center, we have both the Justice Center and Administrative Center on site, but the Justice Center, which is the courthouse, like 179,000 square feet, have 11 courtrooms.
Wow.
We have the Sheriff's Office, Clerk of Court's Office, Solicitor's Office, Court of Appeals, all the courts, family courts, circuit court, courts common pleas, master and equity court, probate. And we provide security for
the sheriff's office
facility.
has to provide security for that entire facility?
Yes, sir, we do.
Wow.
And you can just imagine what goes on there in a period of a day. The emotion that's there, the cases that's being heard, different things, regardless of what court you're in. But we have, like I said, we have a wonderful facility, state-of-the-art security system there. And we man and staff that. But along with that, we serve any papers that come out of these courts.
Wow.
Our deputies serve those. We serve any civil process above the magistrate's court level. If it's common pleas, general sessions, family court, anything that comes out there at the courthouse, we serve in that paper process. We also monitor and handle the sex offender registry.
Right.
We have one deputy. That's their total duty and responsibility. Unfortunately, we have like 350 sex offenders living in Horry County.
Is that right?
Registered with our sheriff's office. And this person's duties and responsibilities is to monitor those folks. Make sure they're staying where they said they were staying. Make sure that they're working where they said. You can access it through our website.
All the time?
All the time. We have just completed last year where we have photographs. You can go on our website, www.horrycounty.org, click on the Sheriff's Department, under Department.
Right.
And go straight into, and then you have a link there where you link to the sex offender registry. And you can go put your zip code in. And you can search it by zip code, by name, by county, by city. But if you just make it simple, if you want to know who lives in your area, just put your zip code in and click on it. And it gives every offender that has that same zip code picture, what they're charged with, things like that. Just quite a daunting task that they have.
Not only a daunting task, but something that should really make folks think that they can't get away from anything, and it's important for them to really work hard. I know obviously a lot of folks struggle with things in their lives, but that should help keep them even to continue that fight.
The person's responsibility also is to notify all daycare centers and schools once a year on people living within a half-mile radius of that school or that daycare facility.
That's great.
Which we do. We serve all out-of-county arrest warrants, out-of-state. If someone's here, fugitive from another area, if someone's here, they have warrants on them, another agency notifies us, we execute those arrest warrants. We handle all extraditions for all departments in this county. In other words, if someone's arrested in another jurisdiction, another state, anywhere,
right,
and we have charges on them here, we do the extradition for them. We go get them, and we come back. We also handle the detention center.
Oh, yeah, which is a tremendous responsibility. I don't think a lot of folks know about that.
Well, currently we have about a 400-bed facility. Today, I haven't gotten the numbers this morning, but yesterday our number was at 660.
660 for a 400-bed facility?
That's correct. We also, and we had gotten up a week before last to 700. We're working diligently with our solicitor's office and public defender's office and the court system to help alleviate some of that crowding as much as we can to get them through the system. We're not about getting people out on bond that don't need to be and back on the streets. Let's work this system. We have a committee called the Criminal Justice Coordinating Group, which myself, circuit court judge, chief magistrates, representatives from the solicitor's office, public defender's office, and the courts in the family court system. We meet quarterly to discuss issues and cases that are involved there that we need to expedite and get them through our system quicker. Because we don't want anybody in jail that doesn't need to be there. If they need to be there, they got to be there. We're going to be looking at some expansion in the future. I'm not crazy about building a larger facility, but let's face it, we've got members of our society out there that can't conform to the rules and the laws. We got to have a place for them.
Yes.
So we're looking at that, and we've implemented several programs out here to deal with the crowding in this situation. I've been out to Longmont, Colorado for a week training on jail construction. Our jail director, Mr. Tom Fox, Gary Watson, our construction manager with the county, and Mr. John Boyd, chairman of the Public Safety Committee, county council member. We went out for a week to discuss some issues and what we could do to do it more effectively, more efficiently, and with the least amount of cost you can to get that done. But we're at the stage now where we have got to start looking at that.
And of course, one important thing is opening the door for citizens and others to learn more about what the Sheriff's Department does. Do you all offer opportunities for folks to come visit the courthouse and the new judicial complex, as well as even to visit J. Reuben Long?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, there's not a week, hardly a week goes by, folks don't come into the office at the Sheriff's office, just to visit.
Right.
Talk, speak, look around, and we're more than happy to have them a tour. Give them a tour. We're very, very proud of that facility.
Oh, yeah.
We want to show it off. And the citizens of this county deserve to know what they have.
Absolutely.
And the reason is why we have it that way. Our detention center, yes, we do tours there. We do a lot of tours for young folks, schools, different groups or things of this nature. We work very closely with the Department of Juvenile Justice in that if we have, for lack of a better word, some young people maybe just having some difficulties and problems dealing with things, we have some folks that will work with them, give them a tour, talk with them, and show them what it can be. But we work really hard to do that. But yeah, anyone, just give my office a call.
Great. What's the best phone number? Is there a general number that folks can call to learn more or to check about tours?
Sure. 915-5450.
Okay, 915-5450. You know, it's so critical, and I think folks should really go to horrycounty.org and click on Sheriff, and they will see the plethora of different things that have been instituted in the Sheriff's office just since your tenure began in 2001. It is incredible, line by line. I think there are at least a dozen different areas that you all have targeted and made a difference in, and you lay out oftentimes some of the financial benefits that have been enacted or benefiting the county.
Yeah, our county is growing so rapidly, and regardless of what some people, it's good that we do have growth.
Yeah.
But we're growing so fast, we have to adapt quick. You have to be innovative. Can't be worried about change. You can't get hung up on changing things. You got to change. If we don't change, our county's changing, our personality's changing, everything's changing in our county. If we don't look to implement programs, things of this nature, and we don't look to start new programs, we can't stay the same. We got to. And like you said, we have implemented a lot of programs since January of 2001. And they've been good. We've implemented some that wasn't, so we changed. I mean, I say it wasn't that they weren't good. It was they really weren't effective.
Right.
So we changed those. And I got a wonderful staff. I am so proud of the men and women that work with Doherty County Sheriff's Office. Dedicated employees, dedicated staff members, people who care so much, not just about our sheriff's office, but they care about the needs of this county. They care about, that's one of the things that we instill in our employees, and we get it across, is that, we're here to serve the citizens. And whatever situation might come up, it might arise, put yourself in that person's place.
Absolutely.
And let's deal with it. And let's go. And like I said earlier, I am just so proud of our employees and our staff members.
You've got to be. Sheriff, thanks so much for being with us this morning. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
Okay.
Great being with you.
Thank you.
Very definitely.
Enjoyed it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Sheriff Phillip Thompson coming up next. Let me get that number out while I'm thinking about it. 843-915-5450. It's a critical number. You heard the sheriff talk about it. He wants residents of Horry County, residents of any area, to come down and visit that 212,000 square foot Administration and Justice Center, the Horry County Center. It's right there in Conway. It's easy to visit. You can be a part of that. Call the office, 915-5450. You can also go out and see J. Reuben Long, or take out somebody if they've got time. You heard him talk about that overcrowding. Think about that, 411-bed facility. Just yesterday, 660 folks out there. It's the needs of the county that are constantly being in a difficult state. You need to be a part of it. Go visit the center out there. Go visit J. Reuben Long. But make that call, 915-5450, another critical number, 626-3939. Give them a call to learn more about the annual Heart Walk at Broadway at the Beach, October 15th. Be a part of making a difference.